maybe you understand.
Your question is actually a question of the Talmud. So in terms of history, we know that the actualization of building Sukkah happened only when they entered Israel. Okay, so because if we explained in the right way Sukkah, they had a moving Sukkah with them, which is the tabernacle. So, and we know that nowhere in Torah it's mentioned that they sat in Sukkot. But when it is mentioned where they sat in tents. Okay, so, and this is the one can say the debate in Talmud is what actually you mean by Sukkah. So there will be, one will say Rabbi Akiva, it's between Rabbi Akiva and Rabbi Yehuda, or Rabbi Elazar actually. One will say it's the clouds of glory, so it's spiritual. And one will say no, an actual Sukkah. So we move after an actual Sukkah, but it doesn't. It's actually we misunderstand that it's exactly that. This is the meeting point, or the possibility of holding two opposition in one place, in an actual, meaning spiritual in actuality. Okay, so Sukkot, so we can build whatever we want. Okay, but if there is not a process, an inner process that actually said this is this signifies my process, not that because I build it there is a process. Okay, now the actuality of it is as well, one can say, an existential process, and not an actual, one can say, sort of I don't know, wooden nails. Okay. So if we look at Baal Sulam, we know that the main issue of Sukkah is the schach. Yeah, it's actually what covers it. Okay, because what covers it, the schach, is mainly what determines whether it is a Sukkah or not. Okay, so what we build schach of, or the cover of Sukkah from. But that's what I'm saying. It's not, those, part of kapot marim, I said, sort of the palms from the palm tree, the leaves of the palm tree. We have to see that, on the contrary, we built something which is very strange. The garbage, specifically using this word, because this is how Baal Sulam is choosing, and this is how it is being. It's everything that was thrown away as not important, as we throw away as not important, through the process of work, of spiritual work. So it is to do something from the garbage of the winery, everything that is left out of the process of making wine from the grapes, and everything that actually is the garbage or the unused. See the connection between hevel, meaningless, and from what we're actually building the schach, from everything that is meaningless in terms of what we throw away. What we throw away from the process in the winery, meaning what we, in Kabbalistic term, is what we throw away from the process of the extension of wisdom to us, because wine has to do with wisdom. How we actually sort out wisdom in ourselves, but which is to do with would translate yekev in Hebrew into everything that has a hole in oneself. one can say even something, everything that is broken in us. So we build the cover from everything that is broken in us, that we feel that we're missing, that we feel that we are found wanted in it. Okay. So this is one part, and the other part, Goren, which is where we actually collect everything that is being left after we take from the wheat that which we are using, and what we are actually collecting is food for animals. Yeah. So Goren has it's something that has a sense of a circle, a sense which is to do with where we collect ourselves, where we gather ourselves in the need of new. This is to do with the start of the Idra Rabbah, which is sometimes translated as well as Goren. What is the urgency of actually, let's say, the friends and the gathering of all the people of the Zohar? It's an urgency of what is missing to reform the world. So we're building schach from the urgency of what is missing in our relationship with the higher. So this is what Baal HaSulam will call the actual Sukkah. So when he speaks about actuality and corporality, he speaks about the process of ourself at work. This is what I'm saying. From there, you should build Sukkah if you're building Sukkah. Okay. So it's because we are human beings who needs ceremonies in our life. So moving out of a permanent house, especially in country where it's not very nice to move at this time of the year outside. It's actually a suicide act to go and sleep, let's say, in Podolia or in Poland at this time outside. Okay, but you're doing it because it's part of something that is a ceremony in yourself it's a calling in oneself for this process. If we actually divorce ourselves from the inner process of what we say Goren and Yekev, we don't have a schach. And we actually cannot gather ourselves together, because Sukkot is a gathering. It's the date or the holiday in which the king is doing actually Vayakhel. Okay, and it's a time of collecting, of gathering. Okay, so it means that we need to gather in order to read, but we need to gather all humanity. Part of what is happening at this holiday is a very deep thought about all humanity and the purpose of Israel. Yeah, and I think last Thursday, I think it's you, Alice, who asked me what is a citizen. Yeah. It means as well, apart from making Bina illuminate in ourselves, which is Aleph, Ezrach, it has to do as well with the actual opposition. It's putting together the brother and the stranger together. Yeah? It's meaning you making the stranger, yeah, which is the Zar, yeah, as you bringing so close as to be, you not consider him outwardly, but you consider him as a brother, mean part of you, part of the same source. This is what it means, ach. Okay, It means that the Aleph, which is Bina, as it is expressed in the higher realms, is actually being sort of in presence in the expression of your throat, meaning that which connects our body with our head. Okay. So it is those two opposition of the stranger, the one who is the furthest and the one who is the closest together. So this is what it means in one of the most rare expression of in Torah, which כל האזרח, כל האזרח בישראל ישבו בסוכה, will dwell in the tabernacle, will dwell in Sukkah. Okay. So it's actually bringing it together. So this beginning of answering that there is a question: what actually we need to do? What is Sukkah? So it seems that Sukkah begins to sort of arise in our perception as a construct, as a one can say conscious feeling construct of how actually we're building faith, and what covers this form, this structure that can actually host or become a dwelling place for the higher. And not only for us, but it can actually hold the opposition of death and eternity, of will to receive and bestow, of what we call Israel and all nations. Okay, so this is actually it's a gathering place. Yeah, and as well we can see it. It's difficult to see in English, but I'll try. It's on the board. Okay, this is how you write Sukkah in Hebrew. You can see it's Samach Vav Chaf Hey in full writing, and actually we're saying Samach Hey is 65. Samach, its numerical equivalent is 60, and Hey equivalent is 65. This is actually the numerical expression of the word Adonai, of what we are saying, or what we are permitted. Permitted means we are able to say. And it is joined with 26, which is Chaf Vav, which is actually the number of Havaya, what we are not supposed, or we cannot utter, or if we utter it in the internally, but we are forbidden, meaning forbidden, as Baal HaSulam explained to us, is not possible. Forbidden is not something that is posed by our, let's say, carefulness. It's yet impossible to utter it. To utter the full words that will express in the future to come, in the days to come, in the reality to come. Okay, will express, one can say, the form of our living. But Sukkah joined them. The word Sukkah joins those two positions. Okay, even in its that which is possible to utter, meaning that which we are able to see as the governing principle of our life. Okay. This is which we can see that is in control. that has the dominion, okay? And that which we need this form or structure of opposition of that which we are able to see and that which will reveal itself and we're not yet able to see or to utter or to be. So this form is joining it and it making it possible. Okay.